One. This is Carl from the HOTH, the PPC manager, and we are going to go through our PPC ROI calculator. This is one of the tools that we use when we're actually talking with clients before actually purchasing PPC, and I advise anyone to actually use a tool like this before starting any sort of advertising campaign. It'll really help you understand where you need to be to break even on a campaign and where you actually need to be to make a positive ROI. So for today, we're going to be focused more along the lines of a service-based business and kind of walk you through step by step. So keep in mind for these different variables, this is more for a service-based business and not so much e-commerce. We could always do another video on that if you like. So we're going to just scroll on down with the tool here and put in the projected monthly ad spend. For this, we want to be right around 2,000. And the reason I say that is because for service-based businesses, the cost per clicks can be a little bit more expensive, and we want to make sure we're getting enough leads in, which are enough opportunities for them to actually close that business. So we're going to drop in $2,000 for the monthly ad spend. And the next one is going to be the expected CPC, or expected cost per click. And we see on average, this ranges from $2 to $8 and can go all the way up to $200 depending on the industry. So for right now, we're going to set this for $6. And good ways to actually drive down that cost per click. So if you maybe have a $15 cost per click for search, you're able to drive that cost per click on average down to down below by using remarketing, maybe even call only campaigns, things like that. So just keep that in mind when we're putting these variables in place. The next big one is going to be the conversion rate. So what this means is if you get 100 people on over to your landing page, how many of them will actually convert into leads for you? This could be a form fill or a phone call. So we normally aim for 10 to 15% to start with and then continue optimizing from there, really squeezing that lemon to see how far we can get it. So we're just going to drop in and start at 10%. And then the next big one is the average sales price. So this is how much the amount of customer normally spends with you. And we're looking at customer lifetime value here, CLTV for short. So customer lifetime value for service-based business is usually a few $1,000s. We're going to put $2,000 on this one. Or if you wanted to, you could kind of also put these variables in for maybe your first purchase. So if somebody puts in $500, if somebody normally spends on their first service with you $500, you can put that as well. The goal is for here with this calculator is to understand where you break even and then how much you need to get, where you need to go for a positive ROI. So once again, we're going to start at 2,000. Because that's where we see a lot of service-based businesses, the customer lifetime value, that's what they normally spend. And then lead to customer rate. So what this means is if you get 20 leads in the door, how many of them are you going to close? Now, normally when we speak with clients, a lot of them say, well, I can close 50 to 80% all day long. But a lot of times when we break that down, that actually comes mostly from referrals. And the problem with that ratio is referrals are trusted because they were referred to you. They build trust with you. You have authority already, and they know you're your go-to person for that specific service. Now with advertising, this is cold traffic, meaning they don't know anything about your brand. They don't know who you are. They're probably still shopping around to get multiple quotes. So for this, we recommend doing a 20 to 30% close rate. If you're doing 30% on cold traffic and turning those 30% of leads into clients, you're doing great. So for right now, we're just going to put 20%. And now we're just going to hit calculate ROI. Cool. So this is up here validating. So what's nice about this is when you guys put your email in for the first time, I'm not a robot. So if you guys have any questions, you guys can always email me. We're going to continue to the ROI calculator tool. And this is actually going to show us all the calculations broken down in our ROAS, which is our return on ad spend, which is super cool. So this is a great tool for your own business, or if you're a reseller, actually showing this to your client. This is some powerful stuff. So this will actually break down the number of clicks, the number of leads possible, the cost per lead on average, the value of a lead, expected revenue, and expected profit. And then your return on ad spend, of course. So it's super, super important to understand, where are you going to be for break even? And then where are you going to be for a positive ROI? Those are two super important variables. The next one is it's really important to understand that average purchase and average customer lifetime value, because those are really going to help you and do that. And I would suggest going in and creating making kind of a high end and a low end. And with that being said, be like, okay, if we have a really high cost per click because there's a lot of competition, then put $10 for a cost per click. And then for a low end, maybe it's a slower month, maybe it's only $4 cost per click. And then maybe our salespeople are doing great, so they're closing at 30% compared to 20%. So I like to always do a low end and a high end for expectations and keep those running. So when looking at this, breaking it all down, it'll tell you kind of number of leads we can expect, the cost per lead, which is great. Now, this is just overall. This is not looking at specific markets. This is not looking at specific locations. This is just giving some kind of estimates and kind of what you can project. But these are good numbers to go to anybody with and to kind of do the math and see if the math is going to work out for you. Because when you look at this may not actually work out for your business, and this is good to know before you actually spend $1 on advertising. And then the final thing we want to look at is the return on ad spend, or ROAS, as we say in the industry. Anything above 100% is you're in the clear. You're profitable at that point. You're making profit off of your ad spend, and so your campaign is in the clear. Now, with that being said, it is not going to be net profit because you don't have the actual overhead calculated in there. So I would take your revenue and then minus your overhead, and that'll actually give you your profit from that point, from that point on. So really, really important to do that and do those final steps. But 560% return on ad spend, yeah, that's a good day. So let me know if you guys have any questions. You can reach out to me below. Talk to you soon. See ya.